When you're given triangles that look like this, that have a parallel line kind of in the middle of them, parallel to one of the other sides of the triangle, the way you can set this up is just with some proportions, all right? And the easiest way that I find is I'm seeing that there's information down these two sides. So if I take those two pink lines and kind of follow them up, they meet at the top here, which means I'm going to start at that corner and kind of follow the information down to write my proportions. What I mean by that is this one's going to be 2 over 4 for that first fraction, and then equals this side, if I follow it down, x over 8, just like this. And then we should hopefully know how to solve proportions. If I go 2 times 8, that's 16, equals 4 times x is 4x, and of course with a little bit of division, we get that x equals 4. All right, let's try a little bit of a harder one here. This time, the information is down what two sides? It's down the top and kind of the bottom, which means I'm going to start at this corner. If I follow my way on the top, that's going to be 9 over 17 equals, and then on the bottom, it's going to be 5 over x. Again, we can set up a proportion to cross multiply, and I'm going to get 9x equals 17 times 5 is 85. All right, and again, do a little bit of division. Now, this one, our answer is not going to turn out to be a whole number, and that's okay, all right, because 85 divided by 9 is 9.4 repeating, all right? Now, one thing you can also do before we get to our third one is plug your answer back in. If I plug this in for x right here, it has to make sense, all right? So what I mean by that is 9.4, that's just, like if I were to double 5 doubled would be 10. So this is just a little bit less. If I do it on the top side, 9 doubled is what? It's 18. And this is also just a little bit less. So your answer has to kind of make sense like that. If I were to get something that would be like above 10, and this one I know wasn't going to quite work out that way, then I might, red bells or red flags or whatever might be going off my head thinking I need to do that differently because I probably messed up, or maybe I set up my proportion the wrong way. All right, that said, let's try our last one. This one has 2 x's in it. Do you know which corner, if I were to label these as A, B, or C, which one am I going to start at? Remember in our previous ones, we started there and there. So this doesn't look like there's any rhyme or reason to where it could be oriented except for the information along the sides. So here I have information along this side, and those come together at point C. So because of point C is where I'm going to start, let me do the left side first. And you can just run down the way that, if you start at that point, kind of the way that it goes here. So from the bottom to the top, I'm going to say 2x minus 1 over 5. You just have to be careful that you do it the same way on the other side. I have to also start at the bottom and go to the top and say this equals 3x minus 4 over 6. All right, if I set this one up, I'm going to cross multiply, and I always like to put my binomial, the two terms, inside, of the single term, the monomial. So I'm going to say this is 6 times 2x minus 1 equals, and then same thing if I cross the other way, my single term, my monomial, times my binomial, 5 times 3x minus 4. Okay, we can distribute in the 6 and the 5 to both of those. Here I'm going to get 12x minus 6. And on the other one, I'm going to get 15x minus 20. All right. And let's see here. With a little bit of math, we can subtract the 12x. And that gives me negative 6 equals, this is 3x minus 20. All right. Let's add 20 to both sides. Plus 20 plus 20. And what is negative 6 plus 20? Of course, that's going to be 14. So I have 14 equals 3x. And then I don't know if your teacher lets you, but I let my students leave this as just 14 thirds. 14 over 3, that's a terrible 4. 14 over 3 equals my x. If your teacher doesn't let you do that, let's see, that would be 4.6 repeating, or 4.67. All right? Hopefully that helped you out. Until next time, keep doing your math homework fast and accurately.